Archery, one of the oldest arts still practiced today. Throughout the ages, archery is featured in mythology and the history of human survival, both in hunting and warfare, from Artemis to Cupid to Robin Hood. In the present day, archery is practiced mainly as a recreational or competitive sport. I headed out to Reading Archers, a club founded in 1949, to catch up with Nick Bathurst, a long-standing member of the club and one of the club's coaches. Hi Nick, thanks for having me down on this Tuesday night session. Tell me a little bit about Reading Archers and any club history.
Reading Archers is a voluntary archery club. We have shot for most of that time at Crossfield School. We've been at Crossfield School since the late 60s and they've been really good in that way. They've helped us out through the pandemic to keep us going when we actually could. Sort of back in its history, Reading Archers were very active. They did a lot of shooting for club competitions out in Berkshire. Nikki Spence, one of our female shooters, she was actually a member of the shooting team for Berkshire, so we'd go and compete for Berkshire around the country, up at Liggershall, Archery GB, so representing as part of the Berkshire team.
If you could tell me a little bit about the club structure, if someone was to come down to Reading Archers, what could they expect?
The setup is like any other voluntary club. We have a committee with a chairman, treasurer, secretary, equipment officer, safety officer, field captain, the usual things that you'd find in any sort of club. But on a standard night, we'll have club members, we will have a field captain who's responsible for overseeing the safety of every shooter and every member of the public. We'll have club members, so there'll be coaches, and all the coaches offer their time for free. They'll mentor shooters, they'll offer help. We've got senior archers who may not be coaches but have been doing it, I would like to say, since Pontius was a pilot with some of them, and have got a wealth of knowledge and experience.
What attributes make a good archer? What sort of skills do you need to become a really good archer?
Archery is all about a mental state, really. Yes, you need a bit of physical strength to be able to pull back your bow to get the longer distances. You have to be able to pull a certain poundage, but it's being able to sort of zone out to your surroundings and putting your mind in a very calm place, because it all comes down to repetitive nature and ignoring what's going on around you and just focusing on where you want that arrow to go. So it's slowing your breathing rate down, slowing your heart rate down, just sort of clearing your mind of the day's stresses and just thinking, I want that arrow to go into the gold.
Tell me a little bit about the courses that you run here at Reading Archers.
Right, every year we run 2 beginners courses and usually one, we call it Have a Go. Basically a Have a Go is an afternoon where we get people in, members of the public, and they get, as the name says, they have a go at shooting for an afternoon. We teach them, we lend them all the kit, we show them how to shoot, and they just have a go. So it's an experience day. Then we have the 4-week beginners course where we run 4 consecutive Wednesday evenings, usually in June and July, so we run 2 courses. Normally it's a maximum of 24 new archers, and a coach would have up to 4 beginner archers, and we'll teach them all the way from selection of equipment through to how to put it together, how to stand on the line. We'll check their stance, make sure they're safely. They'll learn how to string their bows, which is put the bow together, how to de-string it, how to take it apart. They'll learn how to score, they'll learn archery etiquette, and then the course ends in a competition of everybody who's in, with, of course, prizes. There will always be a medal, because like every other sport, archers are no different. We like our medals. Prizes are always welcome, and so there will be the best score on the night, but there'll also be chocolate awards for everybody else, because we all like chocolate.
And what happens if you're not a beginner and you want to come down? What's the competition structure for those more advanced archers?
If you've been a previous archer, what would happen is you would write to us as a club, email us. What we would then do is ask you down for a assessment evening. So basically you come down with your own kit, if you've got your own kit. One of the coaches will take you aside, we'll set a target up, and we'll see how you shoot. Providing you are safe to shoot, in our mind as the coach, we will sign you off, and then you can pay your membership fee for the year and come and join us and come and shoot and become a member of Reading Archers. Once you've paid your membership fees, we don't charge anything else for the rest of the year, because we are quite lucky, and have been before the pandemic. We sell badges to other clubs throughout the UK and around the world for a 252 archery scheme, and that helps to supplement our income. Admittedly, that hasn't been anything in the last 18 months because nobody's been shooting.
Talk me through the kind of the effects of the pandemic on the club.
Well, when it first came, we had to close down completely. Lockdown 1, we were completely locked down. Archery GB followed the rules of the UK government and they said we had to stop. So we basically locked the kit away, turned the key and went home and sat and twiddled our thumbs and grumped a lot. And a lot of us find this is a stress relief, and it's very good for your mental health because it's you and the wind and the arrow. So when you're sort of cooped up along with everybody else, there was a lot of frustrated people. Then Archery GB did allow us to restart shooting, providing we filled a lot of their requirements. So they increased the social distancing we had to do. They increased additional risk assessments on COVID safe measures, things like the test and trace app we had to register up for. We had to put a booking system in place to enable us to do test and trace. We looked at all of the regulations that Archery GB put out and then looked what we could do as the club to actually make them work, because Archery GB said it was down to each club to come up with the safety measures to enable them to shoot. Archery is, by its very nature, a bit of a social distance sport anyway, so we tend to keep away from each other because you have got what some people would class as a weapon. We see it as a piece of sports equipment, but some people would see it as a weapon, and we have safety rules to ensure that nobody gets hurt.
Obviously you're back. I'm here at a session. What's the atmosphere for all the members and particularly yourself to be back?
It's great. The members love it. We love to come up. There's a hardcore that tend to be up here every Tuesday night, every Friday night and every Sunday. And if there was just two club members, one of you being a key holder, you can actually come up and shoot with just two. Safety rules say we have to have a minimum of two. But people love coming out. I personally find that if I've had a hard day at work, it's great to be able to come up to the field, switch off from my day job and just concentrate on me versus an arrow and a bit of paper.
What's the future ambitions for the club?
We'd like to increase junior membership because at the moment the lifeblood of the club is getting slightly older, because unfortunately that's what happens each year, and there's not so many younger people coming in at the bottom of the club. But like everything else, archery is one of those sports that over the first year you tend to improve quite a lot. Then you sort of plateau for a while, and then you've got to get through the plateau before you start to improve again. And that's really just down to keeping on shooting. Aspirations for the club is to keep going, increase our membership.
What would you say is the best thing about Reading Archers?
The ability to be outside with like-minded people, be able to have a laugh and a joke. We have some club members, i.e. Simon, he's all into the professionalism, the skills. Me, I'm quite happy to come up and I'm quite happy to bring a longbow, which is basically a stick, and just loose and see where it goes.